What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show.
He fucking did it, Prime. I put out a short about it, and he did it. And who are we talking about? We're talking about Tony Khan. On Wednesday, first of all, did you see the Ariel Helwani interview with CM Punk?
I've seen parts of it, yes.
Yes, I watched that whole 2 hours. Great interview. And it ain't like Ariel Helwani has not interviewed Tony Khan before. That's when Tony Khan gave him that dumbass interview. And Cody. He did Cody on the same weekend. Cody did a good interview also. CM Punk mentions on that interview about his departure from AEW. And the backstage fight that he really didn't even want to bring up, but Ariel Helwani was asking. He wanted, and you knew the question would come up sooner or later. This happened like 7 to 8 months ago. Just putting that out there. And CM Punk talked about how Tony Khan and they don't want to run a business over there. They're not about making money. They're just about, you know, the wrestling and all that stuff. And they don't want to run a business. They don't want to do business, which was obviously a shot at the elite, not more so of the business of AEW. And then Tony Khan is a clown. And what happened with Jack Perry backstage and how he thought he was doing the right thing. He didn't punch him. He just choked him a little bit. Tony Khan ain't like any of this shit, right? Tony Khan like, no, he's sitting there, he called me this and that. I'm going to show you what really happened. What would you say? I got the CTV footage. I'm going to show y'all what really happened at All In. Backstage. On Wednesday on Dynamite. Huh?
I fear for my life.
Yeah. Oh, God. And I thought they was like, okay, well, maybe it's going to be an angle or something. Maybe they're going to lead to it. They said, no, we ain't doing no fabrications. We're going to show you what happened. And I'm like, yo, please don't go through with this. Because AEW's already struggling. We just coming off of WrestleMania weekend, which is a big weekend. I was there. Big weekend in Philly. Nobody was thinking about any of this stuff. It was like moving on from this. Do your thing right now because AEW's on the downside right now. Because WWE is so hot right now. And guess what? There ain't no more Boogeyman. So that's a big thing right there. Come Wednesday, the Young Bucks show the footage of CM Punk backstage getting in a fight with Jack Perry, putting him in a chokehold, and cursing out or yelling at Tony Khan. And I'm not sitting here excusing CM Punk for anything because he was guilty. He started the fight. But guess what? He got punished for that because he got fired. Am I right, Prime?
In what sense of the word?
What you mean, what sense of the word?
Well, you know, CM Punk is one of the old guys that, oh, you got a problem, you just talk and we just talk it out or fight it out, whatever. You know?
Well,
now, yeah.
So they showed the footage, and honestly, everything CM Punk said was in the footage.
Yeah.
Everything he said, Samoa Joe was there, Chris Hero was even there, who looked distraught. He yelled at Tony Khan. And at that moment, Tony Khan said that, hey, this guy who did some Bellator and, you know, who's an athlete can come over these monitors and kick my ass. So he felt fear for his life. This was pathetic. It was pathetic. This was...
Also, real quick, let's be completely honest.
Sure.
If CM Punk was to do anything, you got like 50 people there. You really think they about to just let him just wail on you, Tony Khan? Like, all them people in there that was in there, all they did was push, and the people was in there immediately to separate it.
And like I said, even when he was yelling at Tony Khan, Chris Hero was still there wrapping him up.
Yes. You mean tell me Samoa Joe, who's sitting right there about to be like, oh, he beating up Tony Khan. Let me make my entrance. Let me go to the locker room real quick. You know, Like, nah, they not gonna let nothing happen to nobody. You know. Now, if y'all in y'all locker room, that's how CM Punk did it the first time. You know. But when y'all out in the open, I doubt it. You know? Now they want to release some footage. I want to see that.
Yeah, shit. You want to see the ace steal, the dog bite, all that stuff. You want to see all that?
I want to see brawl out, as they call it. As it's now called, brawl out.
But now, after this footage is shown, there has been scrutiny, negativity, and all kinds of stuff that came, which took away from. And it was a bad Dynamite episode in the first place, which took away from something they were trying to build for Dynasty. And then on top of that, FTR goes out there right after the footage is shown to try. Did you see Tony Schiavone's face when FTR was coming out?
No.
They showed Tony Schiavone's face on commentary with Taz and and Excalibur. And Tony Schiavone, like, he was going to PTSD, like, this is WCW 2000 right here. This is WCW.
Oh, did he make the same face when he was like, I'm about to go to sleep?
No, this is like more face like, yo, I hope WWE is hiring type face.
Oh, well, he probably gonna leave wrestling again.
Exactly, and I was just like, oh god, I feel bad. FTR tried to come down. They tried to turn this into a storyline, turn this into heat for their Dynasty match. Don't nobody care about that, because nobody's talking about Dynasty. Hell, half the people forgot that Dynasty was even a thing coming up in 2 weeks. What your energy should have been into was to try to build Swerve and Samoa Joe, which they were doing that. Also build what other match? Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. I'll get to that in a minute. That's what you've been building on for a pay-per-view that's not one of your normal pay-per-views, because this is something that y'all been adding to your pay-per-view schedule. Are you any more excited for Dynasty now, prior to you seen that video?
I didn't know Dynasty was a thing, so I'm not sure. Exactly.
Nobody cared. It wasn't Double or Nothing, or anything. Nobody even cared. And everything that happened on that show, nobody cared about. Even Edge had a good match with Pentagon at the beginning. Guess what? Nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. This was really a low blow. And Tony Khan got the nerve. Listen to me. Got the nerve to go on Twitter and talk about, give his reasoning. You want to hear it?
I really don't. But since that's what we had to do, then yeah, go ahead.
This is what Tony Khan tweeted. Just got the great news from @TBS Network. Last night, Wednesday night, #AEW Dynamite up 29% from last week, plus up 17% over prior 6-week average. Thank you all watching AEW Wednesdays. See you at the Stacked TBS Wrestling Show Wednesday in Indy, plus Rampage and it's supposed to be Collision, we put colliding this weekend on TNT. He don't get it. He does not get it. Tony Khan does not get it.
Usually the rich people don't.
Huh?
Usually the rich people don't.
Yeah, but also, looks like this. As much as, first of all, Tony Khan is turning into Vince himself without even knowing it, minus the allegations. Tony Khan, he's not listening to nobody. He want to do what he wants to do, and that's Vince. The things that he despises, he's turning himself into. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's what's happening. And now the morale is down. There's frustration backstage in the locker room. What does this accomplish? It ain't like CM Punk said, hey, I did nothing wrong. Tony Khan fired me for no apparent reason, and I was just trying to have a talk with Jack Perry, and he got up in my face and he slapped the shit out of me and kicked me down, and I'm just trying to get ready for my match. And then you show that footage and show he's lying. He didn't even say that. He said, somebody put up on Twitter, like that part of the interview and the tape, showing everything CM Punk said. He said who was back there. He said why he went up to him and talked to him about it. He said this, and he put him in a chokehold. That's what he said, and it happened. And they turned to Tony Khan, who was suspected to be behind those monitors, and went off at him. Did CM Punk not say that? So what's the problem?
They gotta find a problem with everything.
He really got upset because he called him a clown. Ain't gonna run a business. And honestly, CM Punk, I know wanted to make money with the Elite. Why not? That rivalry could have print money. You could have had Kenny Omega and CM Punk at All In. You really could have. From Brawl Out, you could have built that thing up, and that's something the WWE would do. In my line, we seen the Matt and Edge thing, right? You make money off of that.
Yeah, they'll do it, and that would have been big, especially since everybody knew what happened at Brawl Out.
Yeah,
y'all could have did that. So just don't include Ace still in the match, but y'all could have did that.
It would have made huge money. Can you imagine you probably would have had 90,000 people in there if you did CM Punk and Kenny Omega. You know what they would have for that All In?
Yeah, they could have. Yeah,
but and I'm not saying that the Elite has to work with CM Punk, but you got to at least get a meeting with this guy. If you're going to be the EVPs, you got to at least meet with the guy. That's a part of your responsibility. And CM Punk's salty about that. He's truly salty about that. Because they didn't want to do business. That's what he said. They didn't want to do business. And Tony Khan, when he goes, Tony Khan says, hey, you got to handle the situation. So what you want me to do? Everything in this company starts and ends with Tony Khan. Yes or no? I'm asking.
That is true. But then again, it's Tony Khan, so we don't know at this point no more.
And it bothers me because I like AEW, but right now it's hard for AEW to be the alternative to WWE when WWE is so hot. Because like I said, what was the one thing that was fueling TNA, AEW, Ring of Honor, and all the other wrestling companies? Hell, even PWG. What was fueling these wrestling companies, Prime?
It was all different.
Well, yeah, but also what was fueling them to get different, like huge amounts of talent?
Oh, they hated Vince?
Exactly. They hated Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon did not let WWE was going to be his way. He had no room for growth. But guess what? The boogeyman is not there anymore. That is not a suitable reason anymore for people to leave. Triple H has broadened the horizons. They are going to France for Backlash. Vince don't like the international crowd. He never wanted to go international. They've been going more international the past 2 years than Vince ever did in the whole time there. They're doing different things that Vince don't want to do. Triple H always said this is a new era. We got a new opening and everything. It's a new era under the Paul Levesque. Now they call him Paul Triple H Levesque now. It's a new era. He said, we ain't doing America the Beautiful. We're doing National Anthem and who else, and I guess, God bless him, whatever. You know, we're talking about professional wrestling, not sports entertainment anymore. The boogeyman is gone. So you can't rely on everybody hating WWE to watch AEW because that's what a lot of that was. But now, you got to pivot. You got to pivot to try to make your show interesting to watch. And the problem is, look, we all know how people feel about Eric Bischoff. And we all know how Bret Hart feels about Eric Bischoff, saying he's an idiot, single biggest idiot ever get into wrestling, right? But yesterday on his show, on the 83 Weeks podcast, right? He made a good point. And I'm going to see if you agree with this, Prime. Eric Bischoff said that Tony Khan, he plays for, hello?
Yeah, man.
Okay. That he goes out to a very niche audience. He is after that indie audience, that IWC, the internet wrestling community. That's what he is after. That's what he, shows off to. That audience. And that's fine if that's part of your audience. Me and Chubbs had this argument years ago, back in 2015 when we was just doing this show. And because he's a huge indie wrestling guy, and I was like, I like some of it, but I don't like Ring of Honor. There's a lot of things I don't like about indie wrestling. And I said when AEW started that the indie wrestling is fine, but it cannot translate to TV. It cannot translate to television. Tony Khan wants to bring that kind of style, and it worked in the beginning because everybody was mad at Vince. Because you wasn't getting nothing with Vince. At least you're getting something. You're not getting nothing with Vince. So you went over to AEW. But now, since the Boogeyman is gone, a lot of stuff that of the niche audience that he goes for, it's not translating. O'Shea Jackson, who's Ice Cube's son, who's a wrestling fan, you know what the one that he said about AEW is? He says...
What did he say?
He said...
I know. Now, I heard him say some stuff, but like, I don't know if it's the same thing or not. What you about to say?
He said they gotta movie this shit up. Which translates to, y'all need better storylines to get people engaged in the storyline. Because right now, Tony Khan likes booking dream matches. But his dream matches got no heat. And if you ain't got no heat for a dream match, it's like, yo, would I love to see Okada and Bryan Danielson? Yes. But can I have a story with it to give it some heat? It's like, probably what's your favorite food?
Let's go with shrimp Alfredo.
Okay, shrimp Alfredo, your favorite food, right? Now, if I served it to you cold, would you eat it?
No.
Now, there are answers that say like I probably would eat it, but you would like it better if it was warmed up and cooked, right?
Yeah. Or I don't want it like when you heated it up. I mean, you had it heated, now it's cold because you set it out for so long.
Okay, all good analogies. That's what he's doing with these dream matches. That's what he's doing with these matches. He just announces matches on Rampage, announces matches on Collision that are good matches. That's what it's about, but there's no story to them. And then everybody, it could be in the story, everybody got, it's like now Adam Copeland is in a trios match with Eddie Kingston and somebody else to go up against, I forgot some people that died. So I'm like, why is he in a trios match? And it's like, the last good story we was getting was MJF and Adam Cole, and then shit just stopped because they're injured, both injured. But I mean, like, but my God, you got to put a lock or something, or you got to get people in there to help steer you back in the right direction. Taking shots at or doing something this does not help your company at all. It doesn't. It's just this could be. It ain't yet. People keep saying this is WCW 2000. It's not that bad yet, y'all. WCW 2000 was bad. It's not that bad yet. But you knocking on the door. You knocking on, and just because you have money, you still gotta do something. Because now, how are you going to get talent to stay in AEW? How are you going to get talent to come to AEW and prevent them from leaving? I'm pretty sure once Keith Lee contract up, he out. I'm pretty sure.
You know, some of them, they might just take the extra money just to kind of do whatever. Like that is a thing too.
I mean, it is possible, but that don't help your company though. Like they just start doing talent releases, and they release 10, and then he bring one of them back to somebody like I don't even care about. They brought back Anthony Ogogo, and I'm like, who? I hadn't even seen him wrestle since Cody was there, and you just throw him in a match.
He only had like 2 matches, and then he fought Cody, and that was the end of his career.
And then he's back, but you don't even do no hype packages. You don't even build the guy to come back, and then you just throw him in. And everybody's like, "Hey, it's Anthony Ogogo." They're like, "Who is that?" You gotta build for this stuff, and it can get people more excited. Hell, Mark Quinn came back, and Private Party came back, and I was like, "Wait a minute." I forgot Mark Quinn was injured, and then wait a minute, Isaiah Cassidy was doing stuff on his own. Now wait a minute, Private Party's back. When all this happened? Because I just threw them on a match. Like, where's the story? This is professional wrestling. We know, as the fans, we know this is not like a sports related. I mean, it's sports entertainment, but we know it's not like a basketball or a football game. We're looking for our story. We're looking for our soap opera. That's the entertainment part of it. And when you're going to be on television, you are showing your product to a broader audience. You need to have something for the broader audience to look at, not just the diehard wrestling things. I said this about Marvel all the time. I said, y'all, Marvel is doing the best to do with comic book, but they're also switching stuff up from the comic book to appease and help draw in the casual viewer. And you have people say, well, we don't need the casual viewer. Yes, you do. You need that money. You think Marvel would be as big as it is, or the MCU would be that successful without the casual viewer? People who don't read comic books? No. Because if that's the case, we would have had a good run in the 90s. We did. Same goes for wrestling. My wife barely even watch AEW. The only reason why she knows the names is because we talk about them on the podcast, and when I'm watching, she watches it in the background. That's it. My sister doesn't know anything about AEW. Don't care to know anything about AEW. There's something interesting over it for it to happen. And you may say, well, it ain't for them. You're right. But if you're going to be showing it on television, you're showing it on major networks like TNT and TBS, you got to expand your horizons. Tony Khan does not do that. And also, he had Will Ospreay go out there, and I don't know what the truth is if Will Ospreay wants to say this or not. He takes a dig at Triple H because of what Triple H said to him at WWE World on the Pat McAfee show. Did you see that? Price of it? Alright. Oh, I said you was on mute. I didn't. Did you see what Triple H said about? Well, alluded to Will Ospreay on the Pat McAfee show?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so everybody, Triple H basically just said that, hey, if somebody don't want to do the grind, then I don't want him here. Well, Will Ospreay took that as a shot at him because he didn't sign with WWE, he signed with AEW, and because he don't want to leave the UK, and I don't blame him. It'd be easier travel schedule for him. So he goes on there and talks about he has more grinding that you would know. The only grind that you be doing is doing the position you're in because you've been grinding the boss's daughter. Same 20-year-old jab that was unnecessary. How about you just build to the match between you and Bryan Danielson?
I mean, there was something that Adam Copeland said as well, and people thought it was a jab. He was like, "Nah, I'm not talking to nobody. I ain't even see what y'all talking about. I'm just talking to the people in the back."
Yeah, like everything don't gotta be a jab or something. If you want to do that, Tony Khan should like this. Hey, look, we're gonna promote Bryan Danielson and you at Dynasty, but if you want to get a jab back because you felt disrespected, do it on Twitter. Because everybody forgot about that quote until he brought it back up. And once again, other than it just being by principle, Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at Dynasty, is there any other reason why you're excited about that match? I guess not. So
no, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good match. I don't know what the build is though, and
but exactly, I don't even know what the build is.
And it's at Dynasty. It's not one of their big four, so it's kind of like I don't like. They kind of they add a lot of pay-per-views though. I just seen their pay-per-view schedule. They got like 12, I think. Not 12, like 8.
Okay, yeah, so it's double from what they usually do. But once again, and then on top of that, we're not even getting Mercedes Moné how you want to call it. We're not even getting her until Double or Nothing, which is in the end of May. I'm like, I think that may be a mistake. Why
maybe she's going to Japan or something.
As of right now, she just been doing sit-down interviews on Dynamite every single week. I'm like, y'all got to put her out there. Because some of the AEW crowd may not know Sasha Banks, or she may have a new thing. She may have rust to her. Get her out there, have her wrestle, then she can have a good match. You don't want to just go out there and botch everything, come Double or Nothing. Like, where is the story? Where is the build? That's one of the things that Tony Khan and AEW is struggling at. And right now, relying on everybody to hate WWE when WWE is like white fucking hot right now, it ain't gonna work. And you showing that footage to prove absolutely nothing for your own stroke of ego because you felt it made you look worse. It made Jack Perry probably can't get another job right now. It made him look worse. It made CM Punk damn near a hero. Because everybody
Well,
was saying CM Punk doing the thing. See what? Huh?
Jack Perry's in New Japan.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but they come back to AEW and actually call him the scapegoat. So it don't do nothing for him. Nothing. All because your ego is hurt. We wouldn't even be talking about this today if you ain't go out your way and show that. That right there was straight stupid. And everybody in that company that is knows that. And Tony Khan got to get out his own ass. Like Jerry Jones, I got his own ass. Vince, I got his own ass to understand that the way the times are changing, the way what people are looking for to be an alternative, you have to change. You can't just rely on the IWC anymore. You can't just rely on people hating Vince anymore. You have got to learn how to adapt in the times. Because they're going to keep changing. Hell, if it was no storyline that when we had one of the greatest WrestleMania main events at WrestleMania 40, no. Hell, even though the Usos match was terrible at WrestleMania, that storyline going into it was pretty dope. Even the video package. They ain't got that. Or I haven't seen that in a while. And then whatever storyline, they even got a match with Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa. I was like, where the hell is that story? And it just came out. Y'all trying to build shit on Dynamite. Like, why? Y'all could have built this whole thing up. Like, so we got some story packages. He needs to hire some new people and get out the way. You have any final thoughts?
We'll see what happens in the near future about AEW. Tony Khan, see what they do. That's all I got to say. We'll see what happens in the future after this footage has been released. I mean, let's see how they handle the backlash on next week's episode of Dynamite.
Shit, let's see how they handle it on Collision or Rampage. To be honest with you, and honestly, just like he said, it popped up a rating for 819,000. Okay, and you're gonna go right back down next week, and you use the CM Punk saying to pop another rating. Like, seriously, bruh, get it in control, or it will be WCW from 2000. It will.